If you're tidying up your house every single day and it still ends up a mess, it's not because you lack discipline. You just don't have a system. The truth is, most people don't just have a messy house. They have a house that takes way too much work to keep in order. But an organized home shouldn't take constant effort. It's about small, smart habits that stop the chaos before it even starts. That's exactly what you see in so many Japanese homes. Less clutter and simple methods that keep the mess from piling up. These are ancient principles that turn tidying up into just a natural part of your day. Today, I'm going to show you 7 Japanese habits that'll keep your home organized naturally, with way less stress. They're practical, easy to start, and they'll change how your space works every single day. 1. The one-touch rule. In Japan, every object you touch is dealt with right away. The coat goes on the hook the second you walk in. The plate is washed immediately after use. The mail is filed the moment it arrives. This practice cuts out the clutter, the procrastination, and the mental fatigue of unfinished tasks, because it changes how you interact with your things. It helps your brain stay motivated and rested because every item you deal with is a closed mental loop. Once things flow naturally, from use back to storage, nothing ends up wandering around the house waiting for a future decision. Most homes get messy because we create temporary piles. Those piles turn into a backlog of decisions, which eventually become physical and mental mountains. The one-touch rule breaks that cycle completely. You act once. You keep the bed made after getting up, the dishes washed after eating, and the dirty clothes straight in the hamper. Start with just one category: shoes, drawers, or dishes. For 7 days, practice one touch in that area. Watch how the environment changes before you even notice the effort. The transformation happens through gentle repetition. The gesture becomes automatic. Order becomes your natural language. In a few weeks, you'll realize you're spending less time taking care of the house than you used to spend just thinking about tidying up. 2. One in, one out. Clutter is a silent process. It happens gradually. A new book here, a kitchen gadget there, a coat that was on sale. Before we know it, the house has more stuff than space. At that point, there's no use trying to organize better, because the problem isn't the lack of organization, it's the excess. You can't organize your way out of having too much stuff. A simple rule that helps a lot is one in, one out. Whenever you buy or bring something new into the house, you pick one thing to let go of. If a new pair of shoes comes in, an old pair goes out. If you get a new mug, you get rid of one that's old or chipped. This keeps the volume under control and stops things from piling up endlessly. The best part about this rule is that it makes you a more conscious shopper. Before you bring something new home, you have to think about whether it's actually worth it. Often, that small pause is enough to stop a purchase you didn't even need. In the end, your home feels lighter, easier to maintain, and much more pleasant to live in. 3. The bento method. Open a drawer in most homes, and you'll find a jumble of loose items. Pens mixed with batteries, paper clips stuck to cables. This mess creates micro-stress every time we need to find something. The solution comes from the bento box, You know, those Japanese lunch boxes. In a bento, the meal is made of separate parts. Everything has its own space. Nothing gets mixed. Bringing the bento method to your drawers and cabinets brings an immediate sense of calm. Instead of throwing everything into an empty space, use smaller boxes, dividers, or trays inside the larger drawer. This way, you divide the space and create boundaries for your things. Every type of item gets its own home. And when everything has a defined spot, putting things away doesn't take mental effort because you know exactly where they go. The bento method stops objects from sliding around and getting mixed up every time the drawer opens and closes. It completely changes how storage feels. It gives you a sense of clarity and control. The things you use have a home, and that changes how you care for them. 4. Leave room to breathe. We have this automatic urge to fill every available inch. If there's a gap on the shelf, we squeeze in another book. If there's an empty corner, it feels like it needs a chair, a plant, or something. It's like the emptiness is a sign that we're not finished yet. Space is part of the composition. It works alongside objects, shaping how they are perceived. In Japanese aesthetics, this concept is known as ma, the space between things. It creates rhythm, gives meaning to the experience, and invites a quieter way of seeing. Through it, we learn to value simplicity, allow emptiness to exist, and find harmony and balance. When there's space between objects, each item has a presence again. A room with breathing room feels bigger and lighter. It gives the feeling that the house has space for people and for you. A simple way to bring this sense of room to breathe into your home is the 30% rule. Choose a surface you see every day: a shelf, a sideboard, a coffee table, or part of the kitchen counter. Clear it completely, then return items one by one, keeping only what truly belongs there. Stop when roughly 30% of the surface remains open, allowing the space to feel lighter and more intentional. 5. Fold to see. The way we store clothes is usually a recipe for a mess. When you stack t-shirts on top of each other, you're already creating a problem. To get the one at the bottom, you have to mess up the whole stack. And there's a good chance it'll all come tumbling down. Plus, whatever is at the bottom basically disappears. You end up wearing the same few pieces from the top because those are the only ones you can see. Vertical folding changes everything. Instead of laying things flat in stacks, you fold them into small, sturdy rectangles that can stand up on their own. Then you place them in the drawer, side by side, like books on a shelf. When you open the drawer, you see everything at once. Nothing is hidden. Nothing gets as wrinkled. And you can pull out a shirt from the middle without ruining the rest. The drawer stays tidy, even when you're in a rush. 6. Control the visual noise. Visual noise is one of the biggest reasons a house feels messy. Even when everything is put away, seeing too many objects at once feels like too much. Your brain interprets it as a to-do list. A calmer home controls this flow of information by hiding some of the everyday stuff. That's where hidden functionality comes in. Instead of just relying on boxes and open shelves, use furniture with built-in storage. A bed with drawers underneath, an ottoman that opens up to hold blankets, or a bench in the entryway for shoes. This way, everything is easy to grab when you need it, but it disappears when it's not in use. This keeps your surfaces cleaner and the house feels lighter even while life is happening. 7. Natural touches. Sometimes, over-organizing can make a house feel cold. Everything in plastic boxes, everything transparent, everything perfect, but it feels a bit clinical. A home that's actually nice to live in needs order, but it also needs warmth. A simple way to find that balance is to swap out some of that plastic for natural materials. Things like bamboo, wood, linen, or stone. They make the room feel much cozier without creating any clutter. Storage becomes a way to honor your belongings by giving them a space that fits the flow of the room. Instead of looking like you're hiding things, it looks like you're styling the space. In the end, it changes the whole vibe. The house feels more alive. You look around and feel calm because everything is in its place. But that place still feels like home. A house that stays organized doesn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen overnight. It comes from simple systems that fit our routine and the way we live. When we use these practices, controlling what comes in and out, organizing drawers and sections, leaving breathing room, folding so we can see, hiding what doesn't need to be out, and choosing natural materials, the house starts to maintain itself with much less effort. These habits aren't about having a perfect house all the time. They just create a practical structure that helps your daily life and keeps everything feeling lighter. With less clutter to manage, you have more energy to live in the moment, rest, and feel like the space around you is actually working for you.